Paul Fain joins us now to review your money and what makes sense. And Paul, what is a Ponzi scheme?
Well, Stoney, it's basically an investment fraud. So with a Ponzi scheme, also called a pyramid scheme, you continually, the promoter's got to continually bring in people down here at the bottom to pull money in to pay back people at the top. So there's really little or no actual investment supporting the weight of the pyramid structure, and it's given the name Ponzi after this gentleman Charles Ponzi back in the I think it was the 20s, that had put together one of the biggest frauds, at least that got national notoriety.
If you're an investor, how do you get pulled into such a scheme?
Yeah, because that's the million-dollar question, no pun intended, right? Well, you know, it's typically based upon investor greed and naivete. You know, the promoter will bring out very sophisticated terminology, offshore investments, you know, global futures arbitrage trading, and you know, it sounds very impressive. You know, I want a piece of that. And you know, the way they'll put together programs is, you know, 30 days, 8% return, you know, 60 days, 20% return. And usually with newer investors, there's some, you know, initial return of investment and return. And so they say, you know what, let's just put it back in. Right. And over time, the momentum just takes a hold of an investor, and they just are leaving the money on account. It's being reinvested. They're getting dummied up, falsified statements that are saying, hey, this is great. And then almost an aura of privilege becomes associated, because they're referring friends, and some friends get in, some friends don't, and it takes on a whole life of its own.
I guess every scheme at some point will collapse.
Right, and usually with a Ponzi scheme, you know, one of three things happens. One is, you know, the promoter bags the cash and leaves the country. Two, they collapse under their own weight, which what apparently happened here with this recent case with this Bernie Madoff fund up in New York, where, of course, we've had a terrible economy. We've had a complete collapse of the credit markets in the last 3 months, along with it, the stock markets of the world. And I'm sure investors just have said, I want out, you know, give me my money. And the whole thing just imploded. And thirdly, you know, often, in this case, the Madoff case, it didn't happen, but regulators will start sniffing around and seeing problems and uncover it.
Gotcha. Really quick, one quick way to avoid such a scheme.
Well, I think, you know, you need to check out your broker with federal and state regulators. Ask questions, you know, ask for referrals, and look for transparency. If you can't find out exactly how this works and understand the terminology, run away.
Thank you so much for joining us. Very interesting information we can definitely use.
Good to see you, Stoney.
Thank you. And now for your morning sports, here's Chris Button.